idea that no person is above the law is a bedrock principle of American justice.
No man is above the law, no matter what the crime.
And I agree with you. No man is above the law, and no person is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one's above the law. No one is above the law.
We heard that for how long? From 2018 to while they were going after Trump. Nobody's above the law.
You know what, man?
Now they're upholding the law and people getting mad.
To me, honestly, I shouldn't even say this, but to me, that don't even mean nothing anymore.
That's the point.
It means nothing. Because you want to know, everybody doing this, okay? Everybody, all of y'all moving like mobsters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, all of y'all are.
Yep.
So, like, when I see this, I'm like, every time.
You're just being a hypocrite right there.
Every
You're lying
time,
to us.
I don't care what, you can be Democrat, you can be Republican, you can be independent, libertarian, whatever. Liberal, whatever. When I hear a politician say, get up there and go, no one's above the law, I'm like, shut up.
Yep.
Shut up.
Yep.
I don't want to even hear you say
that.
I'm like, shut up. I don't care. Like, it's gotten to the point, I don't care if it's Bill Clinton saying it. I don't care if it's Obama saying it. Stop.
Because all these politicians are doing.
Just
break
stop.
the fucking law.
Okay, just stop.
Whether you're right or left, it don't matter.
I'm that part, because none of y'all do anything about it.
But the problem is they sit there and make Trump look like he's the worst of the worst when he doesn't come anywhere near half these people that have been sitting there for the past 50 years. People forget Trump's only been in politics for about 15 years.
Like,
how is he worse than these people that have been there for 60 years?
I'm to the point. I think it's crazy. Like, if we're gonna look back and backtrack things, okay, when people say, oh, well, Trump's lying. I'm like, bro, you gonna tell me Bill Clinton never lied to you? You gonna tell me Bush never lied to you?
You say Obama never lied?
You gonna say that's what I was like? I'm like, guys, in the 8 years, we're gonna sit here and say that as much as y'all love Obama, you gonna tell me he never was like before the meeting, like, I can't say this. And to me, I'm not faulting that.
No,
I'm not.
That's the job of politicians.
Because I think like sometimes when you and the president, man, and some stuff going down, you gotta look at something and be like, damn, are we really about to tell 360 million people this?
How's this gonna land?
How is this gonna land if we tell 300 million people this? How's this gonna land?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, guys, oh, Ian's condoning lying. No, I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying if you're in a leadership position and some crap pop off, like, you know it's bad.
See, that's why there's some stuff that's called classified that's need to know.
Like, and I agree with you, but like, I see the way y'all moving, like a lot of people move, like on X, on whatever social media it is, like, oh, the public deserves the truth. I'm like, y'all, how are we supposed to tell 360 million people this? like, how are we supposed to do this?
Certain things have to be handled delicately.
Yeah, I that part I do agree with.
Above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one's above the law. No one is above the law.
No man is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No man is above the law.
He has to be held accountable. He's not above the law.
No one's above the law. Either that nor any other title puts you above the rule of law.
No one is truly above the law.
That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what it means to not have a king.
They're not above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
Everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as, equally.
Well, that no one is above the law.
Bro, I don't want to hear. Listen, man. Listen. I get mad when I hear the name Merrick Garland now. I get a little mad. And the only reason I get mad is, so Merrick Garland's not there anymore, right? He's not in DOJ anymore?
No.
He was only there for Biden's term, right?
Yeah, Pam Bondi's the attorney general.
That's what give it the times. So the 4 years that Merrick Garland was under Biden's administration, every single time I heard this man say, was it say he was going to hold Trump in?
Yeah, you're getting out of camera there.
Oh my bad. Thank you.
But yeah, he kept saying he's going to hold Trump.
Every time I kept hearing Merrick Garland say, well, if he doesn't do this, we're going to hold him in contempt. I got to the point where I was like, Merrick, can you just shut up and hold him in contempt if you're going to do it already? Stop threatening to hold someone in contempt. If you're going to say, oh, he does this, he's going to be held in contempt. I'm like, you said this every 3 months about Trump. And I'm like, can you either hold him in contempt already or stop saying you're going to do it? That's the only thing that's one of the biggest things that annoyed me about him. You kept saying you were going to do something and you never did it.
And then when you did raid him, you staged most of the photos to make it look like he had stuff that he didn't have.
Like that's the part that annoyed me. I was like, bro, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're acting like the little kid, hit me, and you don't do like. That's the thing that I know. And it's not to say I'm not saying Merrick Garland's like an evil person. I just got annoyed with him kept saying he was going to do that
and then not doing it,
and then never did it. Like
that's because he was afraid of what would happen if he actually did do it. And when he did do something, look what's happening now. Like you said, now it's just mobsters all over the place, and whoever's doing
everybody move like man.
Everybody's moving like a mobster.
Everybody
I agree with
on
that.
both parties, everyone's doing it.
Well, the problem is Trump's moving like a mobster now because of what they did to him. If you went through what he went through, you'd be moving like that too right now. You'd be
you know what the sad thing is? They shouldn't be moving like this.
No, but
they shouldn't.
But when you get shot in the head,
you're
gonna move a certain way going forward. You're no longer trying to work with the other side when they try to put a bullet in your head. They tried to destroy this man's life.
Guys, I'm not like I said, bro.
There's a reason Trump's moving. Dude, when he was in there the first time, he tried to play ball. He tried to work with the other side. He tried to reach across the aisle. And they tried to destroy his life. Now he's doing everything he can to protect his legacy going forward.
Listen, man, it's messy out here.
Exactly.
It's messy out here.
Yeah.
It's real messy out here.
That's why Trump is...
And guys...
And I don't fault him for moving the way he's moving now.
Listen, man. I'm not the biggest Trump supporter. Like I'm like Vito knows me. I'm not. But like everybody moving messy out here, man.
But they made him move messy. They gave him the reason to move like this. When he's playing the hand that he was dealt.
It's messy out here.
Yep.
Back us up a little bit.
Because if in Trump's first term, if the Democrats would have worked with him, you think we'd be here right now? Dude used to be a Democrat.
That's true.
Just because he had the R next to his name, they didn't want to work with him anymore? Imagine if they would have sucked it up and worked with him for 4 years. He never would have ran again. he would have had his 8 years. He would have, and Trump would have went off in the sunset, and then America would be worse off right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm kind of glad it worked out the way it did, because now we see the politicians for their true colors right now. Yeah. But if they would have worked with Trump, they would have been able to continue working behind the scenes.
That's like some of the people who like Chuck Grassley, go home. Dude, you gotta go home. I saw him do his town hall. He looked confused, man.
He's 98 years old.
Go home.
I understand that, but dude.
Oh, damn, 98.
He's 98 years old. He does need to go home. But the problem is, he's still more coherent than an 80-year-old Biden. Who was president of the United States. Mm-hmm. Who people were going to vote for again. All Chuck Grassley is a senator that's leading a committee.
Man.
I know what you're saying.
I wouldn't want to be doing that at 98.
No, I wouldn't want to, but
that's wild.
Yeah, no, Chuck, you done good for your time.
Yeah.
But he's nowhere near as bad as Mitch McConnell.
Who should? Yeah. Oh, man.
Chuck Schumer. Dianne Feinstein literally died in her seat.
Yeah. And then
Nancy Pelosi's 92 years old.
And then Mitch McConnell freezing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, she's like 92 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's still running.
Don't get it wrong, Liz. She looked decent for 92.
Okay. I'm saying.
Like she looked hard, but yeah,
no
but
way.
Like when Mitch McConnell kept freezing, I was like, Mitch,
see,
you need to go home.
See, that's why at least Chuck can think his way through it. He doesn't freeze. It takes him a second at 98. I get that. But he's still more there than Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, he is.
You got to give him that. Yes, he's 98.
He's not doing the Mitch froze.
Right. It takes him a second to get through. I'll give the 98-year-old man
a minute to breathe, Vito.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give Chuck his minute.
We're in only 36 seconds, people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What's going on over here?
My bad, Liz. My bad.
You're not above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
Everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally.
Well, that no one is above the law, which is foundational.
No one is above the law, even a former president.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
No one is above the law.
The law is a law, and no one should be above it.
Yes, nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
I just wanted to ingrain that into your mind. No one is above the law.
Appreciate that.
Letitia
Rich,
James,
appreciate it.
Right? Because, of course, they were talking about Uncle Trump.
Letitia James' stuff was messy,
clips.
too.
No one is
It was
above
messy.
the law.
She's
right?
stupid.
But that also includes Letitia James, Joe Biden.
Letitia James was stupid. She committed fraud.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about the dude that she had on her legal team.
No, that was Fannie Mae.
No.
That was Georgia. That was Fannie in Georgia. That was dating the guy that was on her legal team.
Yeah, she was.
Letitia James is New York.
Oh, dude, I confused them too.
Yeah, I'm confused. Okay, I'm confusing people now.
Fannie was the one that was in Georgia that was dating the prosecutor that she hired to go after Trump. Letitia James was the Attorney General of New York that went after Trump for saying his property was valued more to get a better loan.
Okay.
Even though the bank said nobody was fraud here, we all made money, everybody was happy. What she did was legitly fraud. She said that she bought a house in Virginia saying it was going to be her primary residence while she was living in New York to be the Attorney General in New York. You can't have your primary residence be in Virginia.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
If you're going to be the Attorney General of New York.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So she said it was going to be her primary residence so she could get a favorable loan. Literally did what she accused Trump of doing.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, you can't do that.
So what she did was way more egregious.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
Adam Shifty Schiff. And in today's video, that includes a judge. Yep. We have a judge, Hannah Dugan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. We're going to have to send her that same message. No one is above the law. Let's dive in.
The FBI has arrested a Wisconsin judge over allegedly helping an undocumented immigrant evade arrest. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested this morning at a courthouse before being released. She's been charged with concealing a person from arrest and obstruction. FBI Director Kash Patel announcing the arrest on X. The complaint states that last week, ICE planned to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz during a court appearance on domestic abuse charges, but that Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected agents away. Flores Ruiz allegedly tried to flee, but was eventually captured. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse decrying the arrest.
So you heard some of that there. And here's a clip of Pam Bondi actually going in a little more detail with how everything actually played out with this judge and the entire situation that led to her being arrested. I got a clip for y'all on that, so make sure you stick around. But check it out.
So rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow. You know,
that's insane.
Great to have you here.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Stuff. Wild stuff.
You can't do that.
That lady, what's her name again?
The judge, Dugan.
The judge?
If they've already ruled that, if the jury has already found, This is insane.
Wow.
Because
I
ICE
just
was
wanna-
there to
what
take the
was-
illegal.
What was you trying to do?
Exactly. You threw your life away to help a guy escape from what? He wasn't supposed to be here. He was committing domestic violence, apparently.
I just want to know what you was trying to do.
Throw away your whole career as a judge, apparently. I thought your job was supposed to adjudicate cases.
No.
Not dictate who's good and bad.
Nope.
Let the facts speak for themselves.
Nope. We don't do that. We don't do that, Vito. We don't do that. No.
The judge deserves to be arrested. You don't do that.
Bro, we called this last year.
Yeah, we did.
We said new season gonna be crazy.
Yes, we did. Earth season 2.
Yo, the writers need promotions. Okay,
dude. America season 2 is lit,
bro.
Yeah.
Man,
well, technically we're in season 3. Season 1 was Trump's first term. Season 2 was Biden's term. Now we're in season 3.
Season 3 is wild.
It's getting off. It's going off with a bang,
man. And we're not even at summertime yet,
dude. We haven't made it through fucking April.
Like, season 3 is crazy.
Dude, Trump has only been president since January 20th.
Season 3 is wild.
Right?
Yo.
Let's say technically he was inaugurated on the 19th or 20th, right?
Yeah.
So January 20th.
Okay.
February 20th. March 20th. April 20th.
Bro.
Call it 3 fucking months on the job. And it feels like 7 years have gone by.
Now the seasons. Is the season by term or by year?
I call it by term because we're in season 3.
Okay, by term. Okay, so season 3. Okay.
Season 3.
Each term is a season.
Revenge of the Trump.
Yo, this is getting wild out here, man.
But gas prices are coming down. Egg prices are down. Milk prices are down. People are starting to feel like they have money again. Things are feeling good. On the surface, things look like they're nuts. But in your everyday life, going about things, your prices are coming down. Feels like you have a little bit more money every week. Things feel like they're getting better on your everyday life. And then you turn on the news.
I don't know.
Because you know what I mean? If you go through your everyday life and didn't turn on the news, you'd think things are getting pretty good. And then you turn on the news. And you're like, damn, shit is on fire. And then you go to your everyday life. Huh. Not bad today. Today's a good day. Sun shining. What happened today? What did Trump say?
There's a lot just in the world happening.
The Pope died. You know what I mean?
Crazy stuff happening, man.
Like we said, season 3.
Season 3 is wild.
It's off, man. Dude, and we're about to come up on the season of arrests. Apparently, this is just the start of the arrests.
This isn't even the mid-season finale.
Nah.
I would say mid-season finale, probably July.
Dude, we're still in the opening episode of season 3. You know, like how the season, how
there's a lot happening, man.
You know, the opening hour-long episode to start the season? This is the opening episode. We're still in the opening episode.
Stop.
That's my point. This is just us foreshadowing what the rest of the season's going to be about.
Too much.
We're still setting up the plot points.
Yo.
That's where we're at.
Yeah,
how scary is that?
This is a crazy season.
When we get to the mid-season finale, whoo!
Could we get to this?
Great to have you here. And thanks for
Wild stuff. So distracted the immigration agents, and while they were distracted, ushered these guys out of some.
I give her credit for the strategy.
Hey, get on out of here! Get on out of here before they catch you.
A for
what
effort.
a load of crap.
A for effort.
She tried.
A load of crap.
She tried.
You know? Jeez Louise.
She failed on
of course,
execution.
People always scurry like a bunch of rats.
Judge, anything to say about this?
Yo, she darted out there quick.
Oh, yeah,
bro.
she got right in that car.
Dang, she didn't even say no comment.
Nope.
Jeez Louise.
Nothing to say.
Oh man, I listen. I hope she gets the harshest penalty possible. I hope Pam Bondi makes an example out of her, because this has to stop. And it won't stop until you start legitimately arresting people and charging them and holding them accountable. No, not just a little slap on the wrist. You give her the harshest penalty you possibly can. Simple. Mm-hmm. But of course, Democrats are crying and complaining like they always do.
Level judge in Wisconsin. The FBI just arrested a Wisconsin judge accusing her of shielding an immigrant from federal officials. When you're doing stuff like that, it makes people say, not enough people, mind you, but more people all the time say, that's not what I had in mind when Trump was talking about immigration. And these, by the way, are the same people who, when they talk about tariffs, are saying, I voted for Trump because he said he was going to lower prices. Why? Level judge in Wisconsin.
Goodness gracious, man. It never fails. I voted for Trump because he said he was going to lower prices. Y'all never cared about prices when Joe Biden was in office, but now all of a sudden you care about it. Okay. And prices will definitely be coming down. They already have come down. The price of eggs, remember, that was a huge story. Oh my goodness, the price of eggs is going up. But they failed to mention that Joe Biden's administration killed a bunch of chickens, right? In the name of stopping whatever bird flu or whatever was going around. They failed to mention that, though. But the price of eggs going up was Trump's fault, and it was a complete crisis. But when they dropped, nobody said anything. It was just, shh, no, we're not going to talk about that. But CNN's Eli Honig even admitted that this is a legitimate crime. This is legit a crime. If it is, as they say, as Pam Bondi described, she could be in trouble.
Caitlin Pollins, I want to start with you on our latest reporting around this, because this, of course, a very sensitive area for state and local officials. Their interactions with the federal government, of course, always highly scrutinized as a general matter. Clearly, this judge is in a difficult position now. What do we know about what her plans are to try to fight back against this, and what the administration's next moves are?
Well, they have a case, and that case is going to go on in court. She hasn't entered a pleading yet. She was released after appearance. But one of the things that I think should really be highlighted here is not, the case against the judge, it's unusual, but it's not unprecedented. There has been a case like this before in 2019 during the first Trump administration, charging a judge in Massachusetts who was accused of something very similar, trying to usher someone out of that courtroom as ICE officials were waiting for that defendant. In that case, that ended up being resolved. Those charges were dropped in the Biden administration against that judge in Massachusetts, but she ended up cutting a deal. So it was a legitimate case there as well. We don't know how this will go for Judge Dugan, but the thing I really want to highlight here is how this was done today. The Attorney General wants to make an example of this, and boy, are they, Casey. It's not just the Attorney General, Tom Homan, coming out and saying, doesn't matter who you are, we'll go after you, we'll charge you criminally with obstruction. They apprehended this judge on courthouse grounds at 8:30 this morning and then held her in a holding facility at the federal courthouse until her initial appearance, which happened mid-morning in Milwaukee on these federal charges. It's an obstruction charge, yes, but often people who are upstanding members of the community who aren't a risk of flight, who aren't a danger to the community, they're not put in a cell. They were contacted and said, come in later whenever you want to face your charges, when you negotiate this. And so that situation, the apprehending of the judge and then using the federal government's spotlight to point at this case, it just shows you how much of a hard line the administration wants to take here.
Everything Caitlin said and Andy McCabe said before her about the way this is being handled, the way the arrest is being handled, the way that DOJ is publicizing this is spot on and correct. However, looking at the complaint, let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime. If they can prove what happened here, it is a crime. This judge, let's strip the Trump of it all out. Let's strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up at a building with an arrest warrant. They're looking for person A. Person B then says, hey, there's a secret escape door out back. I'm going to show you the way, and then ushers that person out the back door. That is textbook obstruction. That said, I think there's a fair debate to be had that I guess you two will be
that's the
having in a
point.
moment about
whether it's a judge that does it or not, it's still a crime, like he just said. If a cop shows up at a building to arrest somebody and somebody else ushers them out the back, you're obstructing justice. You're aiding and abetting as well.
No point. Point.
Just because it happened inside of a courtroom doesn't make it any different than if you show up at a house and do it.
No, I see what you're saying.
Judges don't get to commit crimes just because they're judges.
Wild if she gets off.
She ain't getting off.
She's not, but
she ain't getting off. This is Trump's federal right now. Biden's world, maybe.
My question is like, how long is she getting locked up for this?
What's that? I think 5 to 10 years could be the maximum thing.
What happens if she take a plea? Is that shorter?
Oh, of course. There always is a plea deal.
Shorty, you better cut the deal. Better cut the
But
deal.
yeah,
Shorty.
this was she picked the wrong season to fuck around in. If she would have fucked around in season 2, she would have been alright.
Yo, season 2 she been. Yeah, you and I.
She fucked around in season 3. She done.
Yeah, yeah, season 2, girl, you would have had a good season 2.
She didn't realize season 2 was over.
Yeah, you would have had a good season 2.
She thought she was getting a tail end of season.
Season 3 crazy right now.
We in season 3, lady. You done. They probably are going to throw the book at her. Just because they're trying to deport these people.
Prosecutors should have brought this case. And let me tell you, I've been both state and federal side. If I was at DOJ and someone brought me this case on these facts, I would say, I get it. I get that robotically this is a crime, but I don't know that this is the right move here. Can't we just call up the state courthouse, see if there's some way we can work this out with the judiciary? How are we going to make arrests? I did this. Where are we going to make arrests? What are the protocols we're going to agree on? Jumping right, not everything that's a crime must be indicted or charged by complaint. And so I think this is a crime on paper, but there's a very fair debate about whether it should have been charged.
Right. Well,
No, we aren't interested in making any types of deals.
Wait, what?
Because the thing about it is,
back that up. I gotta hear
because it's a lesser crime. They're saying that you could have chosen not to bring this, which they do all the time. But the point is, because in season 2 they were going.
Yo, Vito, I love it. I love he's going strong into season 2.
Because in season 2 they would take the smaller, lesser crimes and they were throwing the book at Trump supporters left, right, and center. So now they want to sit there and play cute. We're going to throw the book at you.
Okay.
That's the way. You wanted to play tough. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, why are you getting mad? Why are you getting mad? Not you, I'm saying.
No, I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Hey, all right. Do the little back and forth. Okay.
The judiciary.
Exactly.
How are we going to make arrests? I did this. Where are we going to make arrests? What are the protocols we're going to agree on? Jumping right, not everything that's a crime must be indicted or charged by complaint. And so I think this is a crime on paper, but there's a very fair debate about whether it should have been charged.
Right. Well,
No, we aren't interested in making any types of deals. Because, the thing about it is Democrats want to say, well, shouldn't we just, just contact her, just tell her to come in whenever, just let her do whatever and just come in and maybe we could just work out a deal.
Exactly.
Just, make sure that this doesn't.
They could have if they didn't start raiding people's homes and dragging them out for nothing. The grandmother's house that was raided because she was praying in front of an abortion clinic. The people's homes.
When the hell did that happen?
That happened.
How you gonna raid? You raided someone's home because they prayed outside of an abortion clinic?
Yes, they dragged. She was a 76-year-old grandmother.
What did they charge her with?
For praying too close to an abortion clinic.
Yeah.
That's a crime?
Yes. Because they said they obstructed people from going by them because they had to walk around.
Wait.
There's an obstruct law that they put on the books where you're not supposed to block people from entering an abortion clinic, and you can be charged. It's supposed to be you can't block people from going into church either. You can be charged the same way, but it's never used the other way. Since they were in the doorway and they had to walk around them to go into the abortion clinic, they charged them for obstructing the pathway to the abortion clinic. Yes, Ian. Yes, that's
wait a minute.
Exactly.
So okay. So
exactly.
For example, if me, Vito, and Liz are chilling outside of an abortion clinic,
Mm-hmm.
Just chill, beautiful day out. We just chilling there, praying a little bit. And if people have to walk around us, because we're like, got the door, then we right in front of the door. We're not physically holding anybody back. We're not pushing. Nope. But because someone got to, walk 2 steps to the left, that's obstruction.
You could be charged with obstruction, yes. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's a little crazy.
Yes, it is. 100%.
Listen, man.
Yes, it is.
I'm all for... Bro, that's a little wild. That's not really... How are you... If you just got to walk around someone, how's that obstruction?
Exactly.
That's a little wild.
But that's what they're arguing, and that's what they charge this woman for. And I believe they sentenced this woman to 12 years in prison.
For praying?
Damn.
Yes.
12 years?
I believe Trump pardoned her. She was one of the ones that was pardoned. But yes.
Yo, that's
yes, 12. Yeah,
girl, you can still go get your abortion. Just walk around the woman.
I believe it was.
What?
I'm pretty sure it was 3 women that were charged.
You just gotta take 2 steps and shift your body a little bit. That's all you gotta do.
I think it was 15, 12, and 8 years. These women were charged.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally do the 2-step and go inside the building.
But see, it's those types of cases where people were screaming, they're not being fair, they're being heavy-handed one way, and people are like, what are you talking about? It's the rule of law.
Oh, God. All right.
Just like Enrique Otario, who they sentenced to 20 years when he sent a tweet out and he wasn't even in the Capitol that day.
Yo,
another guy that Trump pardoned.
Yo, man. Yo.
That's what people were talking about when you're going to sit there and complain. Not you, I'm saying. People were complaining about how you're being brought up on charges when you were doing things like that to people. There was a woman in Alaska that got dragged out of her house, and they had the wrong woman.
Oh my God!
She wasn't even there.
This is what I mean by, like, if you're gonna do these warrants, if you're gonna do these raids, you gotta have the right person, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we gotta have the right person.
But these news shows talking about how they're being too strict with the law, and really, they're being too strict,
man.
And following the law, and you were doing things like that to people.
It's a new season.
Season 3,
new
bro.
Season, new rules. New season.
It's not even new rules. They're just following the law. That's the sad part.
When I tell you, man, it's mobsters out here, bro.
Exactly.
Everybody moving different, man.
No. Because that same grace wasn't given to Uncle Trump.
Exactly.
That same grace isn't
Wait, did I back it up? The way this guy was
have been charged.
Right. Well,
No, we aren't interested in making any time.
What the hell was we?
No, don't.
There's some way we can work this out with the judiciary.
This
How are we
is
going to
what
make
I
arrests? I did this. Where are we going to make arrests? What are the protocols we're going to agree on? Jumping right, not everything that's a crime must be indicted or charged by complaint. And so I think this is a crime on paper, but there's a very fair debate about whether it should have been charged.
Right. Well,
it used to be like that, but they chose not to do things like that anymore.
Because, the thing about it is Democrats want to say, well, shouldn't we just, just contact
That's
her,
crazy.
come in whenever, just let her do whatever and just come in and maybe we could just work out a deal and just, make sure that this doesn't happen. No. Because that same grace wasn't given to Uncle Trump. That same grace isn't given to conservatives. No. That same grace is only given, or people want to give it to one side of the political aisle. Now, if it went both ways, okay, maybe you'd have
a point. Exactly.
That's not the case. They went after Uncle Trump. I mean, this man was in and out of courts for 3 years. They were trying to throw this man under the jail. So no, we're not interested in any deals. No, we're going to make an example out of this judge. At least that's what I hope Pam Bondi does, and that's what it seems like they're gearing up to do. We're going to make an example out of this judge. You do this, if you break the law, you will be held accountable to the fullest extent. After all, she legitimately committed a crime. You just heard it from CNN. And if you want to hear it again from CNN,
see more from him. And I should also say, Casey, I absolutely agree with Ellie. This indictment is strong on its face. They have numerous witnesses. They have a lot of facts that will support this prosecution. But to quote,
I mean, there you go. Another clip from CNN admitting, yeah, this case is strong. It is what it is. She legitimately committed a crime. This isn't Trump, drumming up some type of charges, bending and twisting the law to try to get somebody arrested like they did for Uncle Trump, right? This isn't the Trump administration changing laws, right? Because remember, in New York, they got rid of the statute of limitations for a year, just randomly, just coincidentally, and that's part of the reason how I forgot the lady's name. I know you're probably going to type it in the comment section. Why can't I think of her name? But that's how the sexual assault or whatever it was. That's how that all came about, right? So this isn't the Trump administration changing any type of laws. This judge legitimately committed a crime. And if you don't believe CNN, well, here's a clip from MSDNC.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the
MSDNC.
Justice Department thinks they have a really good position here. Pam Bondi was on television today boasting about this arrest and using language that prosecutors don't tend to use, especially in the pre-indictment phase, not saying allegedly, saying that it happened. And look, I think a lot depends on if the facts are true, as alleged by the FBI agent in the court papers today. It doesn't look great for the judge, no matter how you slice it. But then the other question is, was this kind of escalatory action, was this the best course of action, to actually go and arrest her and take her to court and charge her federally?
Yes, the best course of action. Because she's the second judge that has been caught within, 3 weeks doing this. So there's probably more. Just haven't caught them yet. Right, because remember the other judge, and I made a video on this maybe last week, but he was allowing an illegal to live in his home.
What? Yep.
Like, come on.
What? Yep. He was arrested.
If that were a Republican judge, they would be they would be thrown under the.
Yeah. You didn't hear about that story?
You were going to be held accountable.
I didn't hear about that. The judge's daughter was dating a Tren de Aragua gang member. He was living in his guest house. Yep, there was guns and everything else around.
Yo.
Wow.
If you gonna help the man out, why would you house him?
Housing him and letting him mess with your daughter. A Tren de Aragua, yeah, exactly. Wow. Wasn't just housing him, was letting him have free reign on his daughter. Yeah.
Yo, what are we doing? Man, I'm gonna need some popcorn for these.
I told you, dude. Season 3's heating up.
Yo, this is crazy.
We haven't even gotten to the summer yet.
Oh man!
Wait till politicians start getting arrested.
You know, Vito. You don't get hot in the summer. People get frustrated with the heat. Like people don't know how to act in the summer.
Done with the I can't even get it out. Politicization of the justice system. It's got to be fair both ways. So if a conservative would have been thrown under the jail, your side's going to get thrown under the jail too. Simple. I mean, I think that's fair, right? That's fair. And like I said, this isn't the Trump administration drumming up some charges. This is legitimately a judge who committed an alleged crime.
Yep.
If it is as described, that is most definitely a crime. And you heard it from two networks that obviously don't like Uncle Trump. So, I mean, like, I think it's cut and dry. I think it is cut and dry. And from the way that this is all rolled out, I definitely think that, Pam Bondi is not going to be playing any games. No games. There's already been rumors swirling around, and I may make a video on this tomorrow, that charges are coming.
Yep.
Charges are coming. I know, and I've seen the videos of people, a little upset with the Trump administration because, we haven't seen the arrest that we thought we were going to see. But the rumor is they're coming. They're just behind the scenes making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So when the charges are dropped, there's no squirming out. There's no wriggling out of it. There's no, oh, well, but this or what if that. Nope. Every I is dotted and every T is crossed. You are cooked. Yeah. So,
yep.
I guess we'll see, guys. I guess we'll see. But what do you think? should this judge be held accountable to the fullest extent, or should she just get like a little slap on the wrist just to send somewhat
Throw the
of
book
a
at her.
message like,
Fully
hey,
extent.
we're paying attention to all of you judges type of deal? Let me know. What do you guys think? Peace and love. I'm out.
Nah, she'll take a plea.
Get your popcorn ready. Here you go, Ian.
Get your body. She gonna take a plea, fam. She gonna take a plea. She'll be out.
If they give her a plea.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks for stopping in and spending time with us today, y'all. Hit that notification bell and give it a share because it does help the channel out.
Please and thank you.
See you guys in the next one.
Later, y'all.
Peace.
Bye.